main freedom fighter being Usha Ben Mehta. But having said that, we have taken a lot of creative liberties in order to make the story much more engaging for the audience. And that's why I would say what is true is yes, it's inspired, her character is inspired by Usha Ben Mehta, but it is not based on Usha Ben Mehta.
Thank you. That language clarification is important, and I'm sure that we will take that cue from you, Karan. So for the rest of this conversation, Aparna, from everybody on this panel, I can actually call you in case I need a safety pin. So let's just say that. We know each other a little more. But it's been a very busy year for Prime Video. You've delivered blockbuster after blockbuster, and please, I'm just a Prime Video fan. Can you give them a huge round of applause? Thank you. I mean, meri aankhein le lo. Just give me specs. And audience is not just in India, all across the world. But you've been, I remember we were at IFFI 2 years ago, and you said, this is my aim, bro. I want to take these really rooted and local stories to the world. And how beautifully you've done that in the last 2 years. So do you want to, in that context, answer my question, which is, what can we expect from Evatan Nevatan?
Thank you. Thank you for pointing out what a blockbuster year we've had. Starting from Farzi this year and having shows like Made in Heaven Season 2 and Jubilee. We had Dahar. We had some beautiful docuseries like...
Just a second. Jubilee, cheers. Please. Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Cinema Marte Dam Tak, Dancing on the Grave. It's been a great year. It's also very, very satisfying to know that there is a voracious appetite for all kinds of stories, really authentic, rooted stories. I'm really excited to present Vatan Mere Vatan. I distinctly remember when the story was pitched to us. It was a cold conference room, 4 or 5 people sitting, and the passion with which the story was narrated by the writer, and Kanan sir was there. We were moved. We were moved to tears, and if a story can have that impact in a cold conference room, that just shows the power of the story. I truly believe this is a story, like both Karan and Sarah were saying, it's a story that must be told, that has to be told. The freedom that we enjoy today, the independence that we take for granted, there are hundreds and thousands of people who've laid their lives to get us this. So many silent warriors, unsung heroes who've got lost in the annals of history must be celebrated and talked about. This story is also about the ingenuity of youth. It talks about the power of communication and how that can mobilize the masses, for a cause. So that's the power of communication. And really, at a tender age of 19, when most people think about their careers and their lives and their dreams, it's a story about these bunch of people led by Usha who are willing to give up their lives, and they're standing up against the mighty British because they believe in a vision of India. It's a beautiful story. I'm really proud of the fact that Dharma Productions collaborated with us, and what an incredibly collaborative journey this has been. So thank you.
We're going to talk about that collaboration in just a little bit. Yes, a round of applause. Thank you. I'm going to take this to Apurva. Hi, Apurva. Sorry, he was sitting slightly far away from me. Can you take us through the making of this? Because let me tell you one thing. I've always known Prime Video to tell me that it doesn't matter where you're watching it, you're going to feel that scale. So how do you make sure that a larger-than-life thriller drama, which is inspired by true events, is created with top-notch cinematic skill?
So, hello, good afternoon, everyone. Wonderful to see all of you here. It is very critical to remember that when you're making a period film or a historical film, as this is in a sense, you are true to that form and time that the film is being made in. So we have to be so careful that we are correctly representing the art form, the costumes of that time, and the look is correctly done. And I have to say, Karan sir, his team, and my production teams have worked really hard in recreating the South Bombay of 1940s where this film is set, and we had to kind of create the entire pre-independence feel, which was, with buggies, trams. We had to put up these gas lights because the lights on the streets at that point were with gas lights. So it's a lot of work in terms of pre-production and post-production. I have to say the teams have worked extraordinarily well, to give it that look and feel that allows us to identify with the time, the period, and the movement that was there at that point. And yes, it was very challenging, but I'm really thankful to Kanan, his team, our production team, the VFX team, and Amazon Prime, who've been very, very patient and supportive through this whole process. And yes, we have a wonderful film now that's ready.
Thank you so much. Karan, I'd like to ask you, how do you make sure that, the scale of things, it actually goes hand in hand with the vision of the story? So how do you ensure that the scale is not compromised on?
Well, scale is something that is subjective. I mean, it really truly is. Sometimes the scale of the story is so strong, the emotional scale of the story is so that you just have to get your core research and aesthetics right. But the emotional energy of the film will take care of the scale. Scale is not just putting up a massive set. Scale is not just showing like a crowd of 10,000 people. But if your essence of emotion is missing in that moment, then no matter what you do, you will be overcompensating. So I think Ae Watan Mere Watan has a lot of high emotional scale. And the scale is within the narrative of the film. It has the best aesthetics. It has all the right detailing. It has the most, I would say, researched detailing. But when you walk out of the film, you will not take that how big was this film. You will come out saying how big the film's heart is and the film's soul is. And that is always more critical than anything.
It's refreshing to hear that answer in a time where we've all been just looking at things that are bigger than us and looking at numbers that are bigger than us. Thank you. You just bring it so strongly back to story and heart. Thank you for that.
But that is what the essence of any kind of content is, right? The heart lies in its narrative, in its story. That's where it all begins. The rest is all dressing, right? You can dress it to the best of your ability with the best of teams available, but you will be doing just that if the crust is not there. You'll just be dressing. And we've all been victim to that as well, where, today we are told tentpole films, big event films are the only way forward. Then you have a film called 12th Fail that connects with the whole of this country. Where is that scale? Where is that blockbuster stardom? Great actors, great filmmakers can translate into a movement, into an absolutely humongous cinematic movement, and that's what's happened. Every rule has been broken, every myth has been shattered in the last couple of years. There was a time where we were told cinema is out, OTT is the way forward. Now we are told, let's create a balance because cinema is back and OTT is also still doing so phenomenally. Then we're told, make only big tentpole films and then a 12th Fail works. So like, Aur Zara Hat Ke Zara Bach Ke, where everyone has said small town films should not be made, and then again it's made and it breaks box office records. So what are you meant to follow? You're only meant to follow two things, conviction and story, nothing else.
Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Sarah, Karan sir, of course, defined that for us, that it's inspired by a real life character. But I want to ask you, how different has it been for you to play this character? Because I think it is challenging, right? To look a certain way, differently from the rest of perhaps the movies that you've done, to be first inspired by a real life person. How was that for you as a process?
See, I'll tell you that, Karan sir said very beautifully that it's a film that's inspired by a real character. But more than that, I think that it's not just about Usha. I think what this film endeavors to do is to tell a story of bravery that should, God willing, be a beacon of inspiration for coming generations in all realms of life. Therefore, the pressure was to be able to portray a character that will connect and will hopefully inspire. So that's the first thing. I also think as far as, the de-glamorous visual is concerned, people ask me that, so how did it feel that there wasn't much glitter and glamour involved? And I was like, not at all. Ratna was the costume designer, and I sat with her and I said, listen, you give me the uncomfortable shoes if you have to. You give me like loose fit kurtas. We don't need like any, silhouette and any of that. Hair makeup is okay. I've never ever done a film without mascara or nail polish. I kind of am obsessed with these two things. I enjoy them. None here. So it's been like visually also very different for me to be able to do something like this. But like Karan sir said, he spoke as a filmmaker, as a producer, and I'll say the same as an actor. I think that the film's soul is what's beautiful. It's actually not about the mascara or the silhouettes or the nail polish. I think that inner strength and inner beauty is what this film tries to showcase and portray. And that's where the challenge really was. I also feel that I'm a very modern girl. The way that I speak, I'm louder than most girls also. I have a slightly bindas exterior. Back then, that was not the way it was. So I think that working on body language a little bit, containing myself a little bit, channelizing my energy through Kannan sir's instructions constantly was where the challenge really was, because Usha's strength is one that we believe is very intrinsic, it's very inherent. और जब अंदर आपको पता होता है कि आप सच बोल रहे हो, आप सत्य के रास्ते पर चल रहे हो, तो आवाज़ ऊंची करने की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ती. वो एक ठहराव अंदर आना बहुत ज़रूरी होता है, and that's what Kannan sir helped me get.
Amazing, amazing. A round of applause, please. Thank you. Kannan sir, we've used this word quite a bit, inspired by inspiration. But I want to ask you this, then. How do you translate inspiration to words and then to visuals?
Inspiration to words and then to visuals. Karan has actually already eloquently answered the question, right? If your heart is in the right place about the film, it's miraculous how magically everything just flows out. It really does. But the key thing is to cultivate your heart with respect to a script, that it's in the right place, so that you instinctively know whether a location is right or not, whether a certain lens magnification is right or not, whether the actor is exactly on sur or not. So it is something, it may sound very nebulous and vague, but the bottom line is that to sync all the technical aspects of the film to what your heart is telling you.
I must take us one question before then in that case, because it was already eloquated by Karan some time ago. You're a history buff, and why do you find this chapter of history so interesting?
All chapters of history which showcase a brave fight against injustice in any part of the world is utterly interesting, because that is the only way the world can be a better place for everybody. But having said that, there is one very unique aspect to this. Would I have been as emotionally involved in the story if the lead protagonist was a male? I suspect not, because there have been a lot of stories told about great male brave hearts fighting for justice and freedom. Right? There have been very few told about women. And women, the way they came out in the streets, it was Mahatma Gandhi's great contribution that women came out of the streets to fight for India's freedom. And the character under whose inspiration we made the film, Usha Mehta, was an exemplary Gandhian. And that really attracted me to the story.
Thank you so much. Thank you for elucidating. Thank you. Aparna, time to bust some myths. Is it true that सिर्फ crime or thrillers काम करते हैं OTT पर?
The answer to that question isn't the question that is. It's a myth, and I'm really glad that this year especially we've totally debunked it. We started with Farzi, we've had family comedies like Happy Family, Conditions Apply, we've had a Jubilee, we've had a horror show Baladhura, we had Made in Heaven. So we had a multitude of genres, and each one of them, thankfully has worked. In the past, we've put out a show like Forgotten Army. Last year, 2 years ago, we had Shershaah. So there is a great appetite for good stories that are well told, that are rooted, that are authentic. And I think people enjoy different stories in different times. We can go back and watch a good rom-com, and then another day we'd like to watch a thriller. So I'm really glad that we're putting out all kinds of stories that are hopefully becoming somebody's favorite.
Somebody's favorite, absolutely. And I'm sure that a film like Evatan Mirivatan, because it's a unique story and genre, because I can't seem to classify, I can't say just, what would you classify the
It's
story?
an inspirational story, and I feel it will resonate with audiences not just in India but across the world. And we're really glad that we are going to be, putting it out to audiences in 240 countries and territories at the same time. So really excited about it.
I'm excited about that as well. Apurva, question for you. What do you expect the viewers to take away from this film? Moral of the story.
So the film, we are hoping that with the film, the audiences are made aware and they understand what went through at that point in time with the freedom struggle. It's really for us, the film is really a tribute to all these unsung heroes who, some of them are known, some of them are not known, and the fights that they put up in various forms, and which have allowed us to achieve the independence that we're all enjoying today. And I think for us, the most important thing is the film has a very strong messaging that resonates even today, and especially on the youngsters, that you have to stand up for your rights, you stand up against injustice, and you don't bow down to your ideologies in the face of adversity. I think these are the messages that this film gives out, and I really feel like when the audiences see that, they will be very, very thrilled and enjoy this film.
Thank you for that. Sarah, I'm going to ask you, you just talked about no mascara and no nail polish, and that made me look actually, and I was like, yeah, she's right. But there's so much more, when you talk about getting into the skin of a character. How does one get into the skin of a character that is so inspiring? Outside of the makeup and outside of the clothes we wear, what happens internally?
To be very honest with you, I'm the kind of person that believes in submitting to my director entirely. I also think that, like Man said, I still remember that narration. And while Darabsa was narrating and everybody in the room was getting emotional listening to the narration, the passion in Kannan sir's eyes was just fire. And I think that the same fire he brought with him to work every single day. So as far as getting into the skin was concerned, it was actually truly just trusting Kannan sir's vision and going with it. I also feel that I don't know if this answers your question or if it's irrelevant, but there's a bit of self-doubt in me as a person in general. And it was very important when I came on set for this film in particular, I left that at home. Because that was not necessary, it was not an aid at all here. So I think trusting myself and trusting Kannan sir and his vision was the only way that one could really do something like that. And when I said what I said about, mascara and makeup and all of that becomes so secondary if even the set design, for instance, you're walking into this set that looks so real, you're wearing these clothes that you wouldn't ordinarily wear, you are surrounded by actors that are so immersed in that world and being so authentic and organic and true that it isn't actually that difficult to just flow with it. And I think that was what became very, very important.
Let me nuance this a bit, so what Sarah did is keep herself extremely open to every little nuance of the character, whether it be from me or from Dara. Now, given the fact that it was a 1942 character, of which she would have had zero direct experience of having interacted with such a person, it was necessary for her to shed all aspects of her persona, whether external or internal, because as she said, she is a very modern young woman. Right? She has a certain body language, a certain, let's say, talking about even more external things, a certain muscle tone, a way of carrying herself. How does, therefore, she turn into, I do not want to talk about the details of her character because that is for you all to see in the film, but very opposite to what she is in real life. And that would have come only after she made this. And for an actor, it's the brave decision because it could so easily go wrong and she could have been laughed at. But she made this brave decision to just fully lay out her heart to absorb something from a very different world. And the way she has pulled it off each time, and because I watched the film millions of times for various post-production processes, each time I see her on screen, it continues to move me, and it still happens. So thank you very much.
I love it. I love it. This is full good student marks vibe. I love it. Full marks. But you've been very unfair because as of right now, we've only seen Sarah. We don't yet know what the world, looks like. We don't know the other members of this world, and I can't wait, for that to be revealed. But that, of course, Amazon Prime will drop. Aane wale dinon mein. But for right now, of course, moving back to you, Padma, I want to talk about this marriage. The one that you have with Dharma Entertainment. Can you go back to that first sort of meeting that you had, and where does it go from there? This is like a love story. I'm making it sound like, but it's true.
It is a love story.
It's true.
It's a love story where we are absolutely in love with Dharma Productions. And really happy that Ae Watan Meri Watan is not the only film. We are the proud home for all of Dharma's movies, the iconic Kabhi Khushi Kabhie Gham, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, the latest blockbuster, Rocky Aur Rani. All of those sit on Amazon and continue to delight our viewers. There is, of course, Ae Watan. There are 2 other shows that we've announced, Call Me Bay and India Love Project. Many others that we are talking about. So very, very exciting. It's a very collaborative journey. It's a very democratic relationship, and that is what I really, really appreciate. But may I just add one thing to what Karan sir was saying earlier? I had the good fortune of going on the sets a couple of times. And, it was a set where I feel that everybody was working towards one common mission of making the best, the most authentic film. Everybody knew the story. Everyone. And, even if there was something off, people were just running to straighten it. And I think that comes from Karan sir because he was so democratic, he shared it with everyone, and it was really like seeing many employing that one in mind.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Karan, do you want to add to that love story she was talking about?
No, it's an absolute love story. It's Amazon or Dharma Ki Prem Kahani. And we're thrilled, and Aparna knows it. I think she's one of the most astute, instinctive, and absolutely open-minded minds in the entertainment business. And that's why there's been a plethora of content that is so diverse from each other on Amazon. On Prime Video, only because somewhere I think she gets the vibrancy and the versatility of content. And I think that's something that is unique to have. You must understand, instinct is everything. We all operate from instinct as an actor, as a filmmaker, or in the position that Aparna and her team are at. And I think their instincts are solid, and when they love something, they follow it through. They make sure that it is made and it happens to the best. We're always combating odds in any kind of environment. Right now, we will be combating, no matter what, we're getting back on our feet, and we will be combating budgets and all those conversations that are never easy. But it's never at the cost of No, because while there is, but in every prem kahani there will be some ladna jhagadna, but there will always be lots of prem in that kahani. And like I will always say, like Amazon is home for us, and some of our best content has been homed and housed by them, and we are eternally grateful. Every time we met, we actually have a great laugh. We chat about like everything, and then some of the uncomfortable meetings Pura's at. I'm only at the celebrations and the glorious conversational dinners. I never get into a room where we're fighting. I would never want to kind of be in that room either. The thing with Apurva is that he takes on a lot of that, and for that I'm eternally grateful. He told me something the other day, and it kind of like made me like smile and laugh and feel terrible for him. He's like, why am I the one who's always fronting this war? Like, you're sitting there enjoying all the laurels that happen, and you think I'm the one, the bad guy who has to make all these hard decisions, fight for like extra money for the filmmaker and just kind of whatever. And like, he says, I'm always part of the tough decisions. So I was like, I'm not envying you, but I never asked to be there. I don't want to. I have no clue because, like, if I left to me, I will literally agree to everything, and then I will get a firing from him at the end of the day. His first instruction to me is when I'm actually in a monetary meeting with an actor or a studio is do not comment, do not commit, do not say anything, keep a straight face, don't say anything. Because I have a habit, like I'll be vulnerable in that moment, I'm like, chalo banate pichare yaar, we'll make it happen. But wo nahi hota na, because I'm only saying it and you're going and you're combating all other issues. But I have to say that, you know, top of our list of love stories, Amazon definitely plays a big part in being on that list, and we're forever grateful because our creative collaboration is actually very strong. They go legal, financial, contractual, monetary, ये तो होता रहता है. You know, हम सबके साथ होगा. This is part and parcel of, it's what you call, call an occupational hazard. But like at the end of the day, when you're working with such amazing minds, you have to kind of put all that at the back door and say that, let me dig into this brain, because this brain is what really does it for all of us. So we're very grateful and very happy. And I know that I have to add to one thing, we've been saying patriotic and this and that. I want you to know as an audience, this film will keep you on your feet as well. It is also a thriller in its end. And I don't want everyone to just think that this is some saga of a freedom fighter, which it is, and a brave one, and a beautiful one. But the way Karan has directed it is the last act of that film will keep you at the edge of your seat. It's literally thrilling as well. And that to me was the big plus of this film, that you can manage that component by telling a patriotic narrative. And there is truly a directorial victory.
Absolutely. I really want to hear.
Thank you, Karan, for your generous comments. Thank you so much.
I do want Amazon and Dharma to come together to direct my love story. At some point, it will be called Rani Ki Rocky Prem Kahani.
Oh, right. Oh, but why? Why do you think your Prem Kahani will be Rocky?
It is.
It is. I hope you find a green flag guy like Rocky.
Thank you. Manifesting.
Trust me, I'm manifesting more than anything else. So you can come on my couch. Apparently it works.
Yes. Yeah. Waiting to get there.
It does. Like everyone, as in not you and me on a couch. I was talking about like people who have said things on that couch have happened, right, Sarah? Like it's happening. I'm just saying because you're a viewer of the show.
Yeah, I'm an avid viewer.
Avid,
I
yes.
think so.
Yes.
So there's like things that are said on that couch. Like I know like couples who've come and spoken about each other, potential marriage, and they got married.
And it has nothing to do with you, Karan.
It is the well, you know, I mean, like, though we're talking Amazon, but there is a bit of a Seema Taparia in me. Like, I can't help it. Like, I just can't help it. I'm that Punjabi auntie that wants to get people together, like, you know, at a wedding. Like it was, and Sarah's my next mission.
Promise?
Yeah.
Done.
This is it.
Right after Eva and Meri Vatan, and when the world wakes up to how fantastic she is.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Also, we got to give credit to the stage at Iffi. Maybe this is the next manifestation.
नहीं वो सिर्फ मेरे couch पे होता है. Please don't take credit away from that.
Away.
Please do not.
Okay, done. Manifesting hard right now, all of us. Green flag guy, everybody?
Green
Put
flag
your
guy.
right hand up and manifest with me right now.
Green flag guy. To all you women out there, only green flag guys. You see a red flag, you run.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you. In the opposite direction. You know, that's what we need to be clarified about. We run in that. Anyway, sorry. All right, let's come back to, talking for this generation. This is a 1942 story,
Right.
Quit India movement, but how do you think today's audiences are going to connect, or how do you think it's going to be relevant for, as they say, the Gen Z?
You know, whenever we use the word Gen Z, almost there is a tone of something derogatory in that tone. They're great. Have you met those kids? They're bright. They're more researched than we are. They're more intense than we are. They know more about their country than we do. They read much more. They're all alert. They know about the politics of our nation. They know about the history of our great nation. And let me tell you, this is in every which way a Gen Z story. Because if Gen Z knows one thing, they know how to stand for their rights. They know how to fight for their rights. They know how to try to go out there and become the face of an mission of a relevant issue. They are there fighting for every cause, for every right. So if there is any Gen Z movie that exists, it is Ae Watan Mere Watan. We try to slot them into places that we think that just fashion and frivolity is them. Not at all. They are way bigger than that. I work with so many of them in that generation, and I'm so moved by their level of passion. And not just for cinema, but even the way they love. You know, like today you feel like, this is the Tinder generation, or this is like the swipe right, swipe left generation. जब वो प्यार करते हैं ना, वो प्यार नहीं होता, वो इश्क होता है. And I wish that, we took a piece of that from their life and felt the true zone of ashiki, because उनका प्यार नहीं होता, इश्क ही होता है. And I feel that's why we should acknowledge that this, what we call Gen Z, is a power that they have. And let me tell you, they're going to walk into the next phase of their lives and lead this country in the best possible way.
Big round of applause for that. Absolutely, absolutely. Ishq wala love, as you taught us. Thank you.
Made no sense.
Come on, please.
Which made absolutely no sense. I remember it was like so many parody videos were made, especially TVF actually started their career with a parody video on Ishq wala love, and then they kept saying like, black wala kala and lal wala red and like yellow wala pila, and like, it was actually ridiculous. It made no sense. But I just feel so बात होती है ना, जब आप इश्क बोलते हो ना, वो लव में नहीं होता यार, वो इश्क में ही होता है. वो इश्क just means like the higher form of love for me, and that's the way when I told Vishal and Shekhar Ishq wala love, and they looked a little poor things, they looked a bit traumatized, that they wanted me. They were like, Karan, you do know it's the same thing, right? So I was like, I said no, but I'm just looking at it with flamboyance. It's Ishq wala love, that's how I looked at Faiz wala love, as they said.
Okay, Mike. There's so much fun happening on this panel. We got to bring back the questions, but I
Why? Let's talk about your love life. We've done. We said everything about Ae Watan Mere Watan. I mean, if they're already convinced, everybody here is going to watch the film, right? Yeah. So if the ticket is sold, then why? The subscription, sorry, the subscription. Think of terminology so critical. Let's talk about you, darling. What's up?
Rocky. All I'll say is Rocky here.
What's going on? Talk to me.
I don't feel we're equal,
Huh?
There's no equality in this relationship.
In the relationship you're in, or the one you're going to walk into?
Oh my God. The one I'm going to walk into should be equal. We can't make the same mistakes again.
You must.
Nice.
You must. Some mistakes are beautiful.
वही mistakes होने चाहिए दोबारा से.
कभी गलतियां कर लेनी चाहिए.
खूबसूरत है.
इश्क में, जिंदगी में, हर चीज.
I love this. Oh my God, all that money I'm going to save on therapy thanks to Karan Johar. Give it up! Give it up right now. This is amazing. Everyone wants this personal session. Okay, sorry guys. We're going to get back to this. Karan sir, we're going to take this to you because humse to nahi hoga. Serious hona. But yesterday there was this amazing musical, launch. This amazing musical launch, and Suki Paji was on stage, and it just, everyone who was there. How many of you were there yesterday at that launch? So you saw that. And I want to take it back to music for a second, because I remember saying that there's no, or hearing that there might not be space for music in the OTT genre, but everybody proves that wrong, and I'm so happy with Jubilee you did that. So how important is music? Because he brought up music some time ago as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's still an Indian film, OTT platform or theatrical, right? And this is the one unique thing in world cinema which distinguishes Indian cinema, how beautifully we integrate music with storytelling, right? And it is a tradition, it's a culture that is just too special for in the hearts of all of us sitting here and the audiences too. How do we manage to? It's something that Western audiences still don't get. It is so much in our blood. The trick, of course, is that it should not be done gratuitously. Right? It should be, as the cliche goes, integrated with the story. And I think, when that happens, both the emotion of the story and the narrative of the story really gets enhanced, which is what has happened in our film in all the song situations. You will not feel that we have just thrown in a song, for the audience to just take a break or something like that. The songs are very important for emotional landing, and for taking the narrative forward. And in that, we have stayed true to the glorious tradition of Indian cinema.
Thank you, Karan. So thank you so much. Sarah, we haven't heard you go Namaste Darshako in a while, so I'm very upset about that. I mean, this is just me being a fan.
Day after is the
Day
day.
after.
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm starting on
It's also
Thursday.
Thirst Trap Thursday.
It's Thursday. Thursdays.
I'm just hungry.
Right now?
No, I'm just, that's irrelevant. I'll post on Thursday.
Okay, 1 second. If you had to choose between hungry and thirsty, what is your honest frame of mind?
So,
I think, many times, especially since I have a tendency to put on weight, I realize that I feel like munching when I'm just thirsty. So, if you're not thirsty, then you know for sure if you're hungry or not.
Are you doing something to fix that thirst?
Water.
Okay.
Hydration is key.
or something in it.
Then pani normal, acha. Koi bhi Himalayan is nice.
That's lovely. Fantastic. No, I need to ask you a question. Please do it in this panel at this point. But we really covered everything. So I thought I'll ask you, why do you think that this was something that you wanted to sink your teeth into? Because I've seen what you've been doing in the past, but recently we've heard you say that there have been a lot of revelations for you personally. So how does that professional journey and the personal journey come together?
See, I don't know for sure if it does. I think I'm really glad and very lucky that not only did I get to do this film, but I also got to do it at the time that I did. I think that, I've grown up a little bit. I've learned a few things about myself. I've also learned that there is a difference between just noise and actual value. And I think it's very important before you portray a character like this to understand that, because you have to rely more on what's within rather than just find comfort in an attractive exterior. And I think that was a development that had to happen personally for it to be able to translate. But when you ask me why I do a film like this, as an actor, I've said this before and I'll say it again, versatility is something that I really, really look forward for. I want to be able to live emotions that I wouldn't be able to ordinarily in my own life. I want to be able to inspire, I want to be able to create. And I think this film does all of that. Right after a film like Zara Hatke Zara Bachke, where I'm like a Punjabi loud housewife, to be able to go back in time and find a certain stability, a thera, a timeless quality. Like Karan sir said, we talk about this being just a story of inspiration, which I really hope it will be. But it is also a very relevant story of inspiration, because there's always some form of injustice. You put it on yourself, other people put it on you, there's societal pressure, whatever it is. Your ability to stand up for what's right after recognizing it is extremely important as an actor, as a human being, as an Indian, as a world citizen. And I think that this film tries to showcase that.
Fantastic. And I wish you luck with all those journeys, personal and professional. Yes, a round of applause. It would be really nice. At this point, honestly, जितना हमने देखा उसके ऊपर 1 घंटा मैंने बात कर लिया है. So I deserve a round of applause, please. Thank you. But we are not going anywhere without closing comments, and that will come from Mr. Johar. Closing comments you'll have to say. So in terms of what you're looking forward to with Vatan Mere Vatan, what should the audience look forward to? And you're still not telling us when it releases. So thank you for telling us a lot. Padma, stay tuned early next year. Okay.
Well, I think we've said everything. We've expressed the passion behind the film. We've expressed the bravery in the film. We've expressed the intensity. We've expressed that it is a thriller as well, because it does keep you on your toes, on the edge of your seat or bed when you watch it. But the one thing that I will say is that we produce a lot of content. A lot of it some are commercial decisions, some are purely soulful, creative decisions. Hai Vatan, Mere Vatan is a soulful, creative decision. It was made with no commercial gain or loss. It wasn't made because we were trying to kind of up our ladder in the blockbuster scheme of things. We made this film because we felt India needed to hear this story. India needed to see this story. India needed to experience this story. And the thing is, when everyone comes together without an ulterior motive, without any agenda, that's when that film really speaks to an audience. I think there is pure-hearted, organic, old-world conviction in the story. Whether it's from Aparna and her team at Amazon, from Kanan here and Dara and his team that made this film, from Sara Ali Khan and the work put in, from all of us at Dramatic Entertainment. All of us have come on board with the sole purpose of making a film that truly resonates with this country. And every time we have done that in the past, that film has really worked. It happened to us with Shershaah, it happened to us with Raazi, and several other films. Where none of those films were made कि हम 200 करोड़ कमाएंगे, 300 करोड़ कमाएंगे, यहाँ वो number होगा, इस chart पे top करेगी. None of those thoughts are crossing my mind as I speak this. And none of these feelings are in any of our collective hearts. Eventually, it's all about the glory that the film will get only when the audience gives it that love. And I do believe, on a personal note, I'd say this, because I've seen this girl grow up in front of me, and I've also seen so much has been said about privilege, entitlement, and the fact that there's a first benefit you get when you come from a film family. But I have single-handedly been on the front row of seeing this girl fight odds, combat circumstances, really trying to find a place in this fraternity as an artist, as an actor. And I'm so proud of her. Proud of her as a parent would be, proud of her as her parents will be. But more than anything else is we just see the surface, right? You see the Namaste Darshako, you see her Instagram movement, you see all of that. But sometimes I feel like telling Sara, तुम इतना जो मुस्कुरा रहे हो, क्या हम है जो छुपा रहे हो? And it's that rum that she hides is that she's brought out in this film. And I'm waiting, and I've given her that hug, but I'm waiting to finally give her that big hug the day this film drops, because I feel there will be a game-changing movement for her.
Wow. I look forward to that. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it's so beautiful. To make any art, one must go in, right? And that's what we just did. We started with something that was on the screen, but it ended on this note where we perhaps got to know a little bit more about each of you through your passions. Thank you so much for sharing stage and time with us. We also like to thank the 54th IFFI, which is the International Film Festival of India, and the Satyajit Ray Film and Television Institute for organizing this wonderful session. But most of all, from all of us here, we'd like to thank you, the audience, for watching what we put out there. Thank you for being patient today. For right now, yes sir, you're raising your hand thinking that there's going to be something. Is there a question and answer session? Yes. Can we do this? We can do this today?
Asking me?
No. I'm asking Aditi. She's behind you. Wonderful. There's a mic, hopefully that'll come to you in that case. Yeah. Hi sir, how are you sir? 1 second sir, there's a mic coming to you.
Hi.
Hi.
Next.
Hi, Karan ji.
Namaskar.
I'm speaking with Sushant from Bangalore. Namaskar. Speaking to Coffee with Karan. Very happy speaking to you.
I'm not a beverage, sir. I'm actually a person, a human being.
Okay, yeah. So, first of all, huge credits to Sara Ali Khan, because as she said, versatility is something very important in an actress or an actor. So I really saw the trailer and saw you more versatile, and that's something very unique. My question is to you, Karan sir.
When I will become versatile.
you are non-versatile for me. Okay, so my question is basically that there are very less producers who make this female-oriented films. So as a male, what made you do that? And secondly, when the director pitched you this whole story, what is that USP, unique selling point of the movie you felt to produce it?
Sir, I'm a proud feminist. I was raised by a strong mother and very, very strong aunts. I don't see gender where it comes to story. I see power of narrative. And for me, choosing a female-led story is almost an instinct, because it's something I'm just drawn to. Because, like we said, we live in a vastly patriarchal society. And even in the recent film that I directed, it was a commentary I made in that film. The USP of a story I don't see by gender, I see by narrative and soul and story and everything else. Vatan Mere Vatan was a story that needed to be told for all the reasons we've discussed on this panel. but when you speak about where I'm a male making a story about female, that just comes naturally to me. I'm not even thinking that I'm doing something great or grand. It's something I want to do. It's something that is coming naturally to me. Whether it was Raazi, or it's been Gunjan Saxena, or it's now Ae Watan Mere Watan, or it's been the short films that I've directed, which have been led by women in Bombay Talkies and Love Stories. Like, these are, it just comes naturally where the women in my films have agency. Naturally, it's because I believe they must. I believe they have to. So these are just natural, organic decisions that they come from the root of my upbringing. And I will continue to tell those stories with as much abandon as possible.
Thank you. Thank you, Karan, and thank you so much.
Hello.
Other languages? So I'm the language I'm comfortable in telling a story is the language that I was raised in, which is Hindi. I'm all about cinema across the world. In fact, I was one of the first people who actually introduced Bahubali to the Hindi-speaking, audiences of this country. And I believe that the films made, whether it's Kannada, Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, are outstanding. And what all of them have created, and thanks to platforms like Amazon Prime, where we can actually see those movies, fall in love with the power of Malayalam stories, fall in the power of the great mainstream abandon of Telugu cinema, with the nuances of Tamil cinema, with the supreme storytelling of Kannada cinema. Right now, with Hemant Rao's new film, Side A and Side B, I was blown away by just the story, but equally blown away by PS1 and 2, Mani Ratnam's genius, equally blown away by the power of KGF, which opened doors in Kannada cinema, equally blown away by the solid mainstreamness of Pushpa and RRR. I mean, like, there is so much happening in Hindi cinema, but there is so much happening in Indian cinema. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to drop the goods that we associate our cinema with and just proudly call ourselves proud members of Indian cinema.
Thank you, Karan.
Hello.
Yes, sir, the mic is with you, don't worry.
Karan, you said that the entire India should see this film. But the entire India, all the Indians have accessibility to theatres, but not OTT platform. So wouldn't it be nice if you had first released it in theatre, so that the entire population who doesn't have accessibility to OTT could have seen it?
So truly, we are also going with the evolving climate and changing times of the mainstream entertainment industry. There are films that are theatrical that you can watch, but there's also the power of OTT platforms and streaming services that are also not just, and you must understand, they're not just enhancing so many things. They brought in so much talent through writers and actors and directors. And I think if we don't empower them as storytellers ourselves, then we are actually shortchanging ourselves. Today, we have directors and writers and top actors that have actually been born by the power of OTT platforms and streaming services. We in cinema, sir, gain from that. So I, as a film producer, want to support streaming services, because if they are empowered, we get empowered in cinema. And it's a win-win situation for both of us. As I've always said, cinema, OTT, bhai bhai. And that's the way we have to look at it.
That's true. Thank you. Thank you for that, Karan.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Yeah. Good luck for your film. But my question is, the title is wrong, I think. Because drawing inspiration from history to create, it's not a cinematic experience. Yeah, it's an Amazon experience. Yeah, and you say today's audience, but this is Amazon audience, but not the general audience. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable comments. There's a gentleman who came up there. Yes, sir. You want to say something?
Ask him to answer. Ask him to answer.
Sir, I don't think you asked a question.
Sir, you said thank you and sat down. You didn't ask me a
You
question.
can ask a question.
Yeah, that's a question, sir.
Oh, that's a question.
Yeah, you should understand it's a question.
Sir, I've understood, sir. It's a question, and thank you so much for asking it. You're very gracious. When we
Answer
say
it in some
cinema,
other
sir,
channel.
we say cinema, we don't mean cinema halls in particular. We mean power of cinema means power of stories, power of content. It may be whichever platform, sir. It is still cinematic. We make films, the word cinematicness does not need to be seen in a cinema hall. Today, when I watch something on television, on Doordarshan, or on a television channel, I can still say this is a cinematic moment. When I see it on a streaming service, I can say this is a cinematic tale. It has nothing to do with geography, sir. It has to do with intent.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Our last question is with this gentleman right here. Yes, sir.
Thank you for giving me the last question.
जी
मुझे बड़ा अफसोस होता है आपके इतनी अच्छी चेस्ट और प्योर अंग्रेजी बोलते हैं, जितने भी मैडम ने बोला, सायरा ने बोला, मैं गांधी जी की जुबान हिंदुस्तानी में बोलूँगा, उर्दू हिंदी में। तो सर मेरा मुझे शेख अहमद बेलगाम से बिलोंग करता हूँ। अरे सॉरी सर, मैं एक पॉलिटेक्निक का टीचर था। तो सर मेरा सवाल छोड़िए सर, मैं बोल
सर हम आपके साथ हैं।
सवाल मेरा ये था सर कि सारा जी से आपने इस रोल के लिए किस तरह से तैयार किया आपको, वैसे आपके इस नजर आ गए और इतना आपने फिल्म की कहानी बता दी मुझे। मैं ऐसे कर रहा हूँ। करण सर से मेरी एक रिक्वेस्ट है, इस पर आपने फिल्म बना रहे हैं, सोचा हो तो एक आज़ादी का पहला मुजाहिद शेर मैसूर टीपू शहीद कर्नाटक का एक बादशाह था, वो आज़ादी का सबसे पहले आज़ादी का नारा देने वाला था। उसके बारे में भी ज़रा सोचिए, ज़रा ध्यान दें। और उसकी बात यह है सर, उसका एक कोटेशन था, शेर की एक दिन की जिंदगी से गीदड़ की 100 साल की जिंदगी से बेहतर हो। अच्छा, और दूसरी बात जो है सर,
I'm so sorry, सर मुझे माफ कीजिएगा, लेकिन इस वक्त आपको ये जवाब अगर सुनना हो तो सारा जी को बोलने दीजिए।
एक मिनट में खत्म। और अंग्रेज ही टीपू से नहीं डरते थे। उनके बच्चे जब नींद के लिए सताते थे, माएँ कहती थी बेटा सो जा, टीपू आ जाएगा। बस इतना ही।
शुक्रिया, शुक्रिया, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आपको भी सारा का जवाब सुनना है ना? या फिर थैंक यू सर, आपने जो बोला बहुत ही खूबसूरत था।
सर थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपका सवाल बहुत अच्छा था। मेरी यही उम्मीद है, जैसे आपने हमें टीपू जी के बारे में बताया, हम किसी और की कहानी दर्शाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। उम्मीद है कि हमारे जो देश में बहुत प्रेरणा की कहानी है, सब दर्शाए जाए। जी
बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया सर, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू सर। अभी मैं दरख्वास्त करूंगी ऑफ कोर्स for our wonderful panel to leave your mics behind, stand up, take a step right here, and we'd just like to thank all of you for being here today. And yeah, thank you so much guys for being a wonderful audience. Give them a round of applause if your hands are not busy with your phones. Come on, thank you. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Khan Video. Can't wait forever. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Karan.
चलो
That was good time.
Further please.